Very good. All right. Presentation for technology update.
Very good. So if y'all remember, had Eddie, or wanted to get Eddie last meeting, we had a lot of stuff going on. Talk a little bit about E-rates and some devices and stuff. So go ahead.
So I'm going to give each of you a little document that talks about devices. And I'll kind of go into detail. There it is. So in 2023, forgive me, I'm new, so my dates may be a little off, but 2023, the district bought Microsoft Surface devices for everyone from 4th grade up. So K through 3 are still on old devices. K through 2 are on iPads, and they're 5th generation iPads, which I think we can get another year out of those iPads, so we don't have to touch those devices this year. But 3rd and 4th grade, as well as staff for elementary and intermediate school, need new devices. Right now they're on MacBooks, and with everyone else being on Microsoft Surfaces and in the Microsoft environment, we need to basically purchase their devices at this time to get the rest of the staff and the students that are using Microsoft devices upgraded. So what you're looking at in front of you is the total numbers. The top number is the students. So we're looking at 345 devices. They come to 222, 300, and then the staff is below that. Broken out, it's basically 82 devices for SPED and all of staff in elementary and intermediate school. So with that being said, I'll kind of open it up for questions if y'all have anything on that.
So let me start with it. So we're just talking about this. So let me start with these devices right here. They've really been, I think, been great, at least my experience talking to teachers. However, they are a little flimsy for junior high kids. And so 6th grade has got all, is that right, 6th grade?
Yep, 6th grade we replaced, we put cases on all of them in glass to protect them.
Okay.
And we're going to do that with the rest of the devices, the Surface devices over the summer.
Okay.
On all the new Surfaces. What we're proposing is going to a laptop now that's more stable, and it's also half the cost of a Surface. And it comes with a 3-year warranty and hardware replacement included in that price, at about half the cost of a Surface. Surfaces, you're looking at $1,500 a piece with a 3-year warranty on it, but the warranties don't even cover accidental damage. So every time a glass gets broke, we're spending $300 each device to get repaired on that device. And it usually takes about 2 to 3 weeks to get a device turned around on repairs. Shannon's here, she's the one that handles all of the repairs and processing the orders as they come through. So we did an assessment just to say, at the end of this school year, we're going to find out how much damage has been done on the Surfaces and what that's going to cost to repair them. So I thought, let's get away from the Surfaces, let's go to a laptop, which is more stable and about half the cost, because it has a protective case around it where we don't have to buy an additional case to go on the Surfaces. As you can see, the Surface is kind of like an iPhone. Remember when the iPhones first came out, drop them a lot, they break the glass. It's kind of the same concept.
So the biggest difference is this has got a touch screen to it.
Yep.
Which is nice, okay, but it's not needed to get the stuff done that we need to get done. And so I'll take responsibility on that.
Yeah.
Obviously, when you start thinking about junior high kids and a device like this, they're gonna break. They're gonna break. And so,
honestly, I hadn't used, I knew it had the touch screen, but I don't use it all that much,
Yeah.
because it's got I'm just used to a laptop, so.
right, yeah, me too, I very seldom use it, but the kids do.
Yeah.
Kids use it a ton.
Right.
They're all
Because they're used to the
all
iPad.
over the place,
Yeah.
right, and the touch screen.
Same operating systems?
Yes, exact same operating system. And we went and asked the teachers, do you need a touch screen? Is it beneficial in the classroom? And just about every one of them came back and said, no, they don't really have to have the touch screen to run their apps and things like that. So it's just a benefit to have a touch screen, but it's not necessary. So
Shannon, you wanna add anything?
Just to give you some more information on damage with the surface, we've got $50,000 in damages from this year, the first year we used the surfaces. And we haven't even picked up the devices from the school campuses yet, which we'll do that here in the next couple of weeks. But we're anticipating about a 12 to 15% rate of damage on the devices. So we're probably pushing $80,000 this year on repairs that we're gonna have to go. Now, we do have the students pay $30, I think it's $30, right, for devices, for insurance. So there's some money that's set aside to make those repairs, but right now, we don't know if that's enough money, if we're gonna increase that amount next year, but we're trying to get away from so much damage, and that's why I'm leaning more towards the laptop, cost-wise, as well as, how stable the device is. So,
Is that just self-insured on those laptops? I mean, we're not buying
yeah,
a policy.
it's self-insured, yeah.
Did you wanna tell about how we were gonna also add in potentially like fees for damage that was like?
Yeah, we're looking at different ways to collect fees. Right now, there's a $30 insurance, but it doesn't really cover hardly anything because it's $300 repair on the device, right? So the entire student body paying $30 each, we might get away with covering the cost of the repairs this year. We really won't know till we get in the summer. But we're looking at increasing that fee going into next year, as well as giving the option to pay online. Right now, we're collecting cash through the librarian. So we're looking at improving that process of collecting those fees online. So if somebody has a $100 damage fee, if it's intentional damage, right? If we know a kid has gone out and broken the device or did something intentionally, their fees are gonna go up, right? It's just not gonna be the standard $30. So let's say they have a $100 damage fee. They'll be able to pay that online and break it out over payments. So if somebody can't afford $100 up front, they can break it out $10 a month for however many months or whatever. So we're looking at different options on the insurance side of it and repair side of it. But my opinion is we need to get a more stable device. It's not so easily breakable, and which will help reduce the overall repair cost. But aside from that, the second and third grade, they're still on MacBooks. So they didn't get new Surfaces last year when they bought Surfaces for fourth and up. So we have to get them on a Microsoft device so that they're the same as everyone else in the district. And then staff, same thing. Staff in kindergarten or intermediate and elementary school, they're on MacBooks right now. We need to get them to a Microsoft device. So at the end of this purchase, everyone will be on a Microsoft device, with the exception of the kids in elementary school, which are on iPads. A lot of information, but.
And we can or can't use bond funds for this?
Can
Can. So this has to come out of,
Because we didn't put it in there, or it had been a different proposition. Technology does.
What do we have in the budget for that kind of stuff?
I mean, we have.
It's in the, it'd be in our capital outlay. We have a technology line item and capital outlay for this type of thing. We have enough to cover this purchase in there.
Is that just for this year?
The capital outlay budget is just an ongoing budget, and we try to we put any sort of funds that we have, we try to allocate some to our technology just to keep that up to date.
So
I don't know
how
if
much is
Eddie
in
wants to go into this, but I know going forward, we had talked about just planning on buying a class set each year so that we could just budget that, because gone are the days that we can really count on replacing every device in the whole district. So we could probably get by buying one class set after this year, one class set for the next 4, 5, 6 years, and then we'd have to buy 2 class sets going forward, because those devices that we're rolling out next year to third grade they're not gonna last through their senior year, so
Do we
it'd probably be
have,
like a 3rd and 8th grade type thing.
do we have it set up right now to where they keep the same device? Like, I know they turned it in during the summer, but they get the same one back, because like our boys, we went ahead and bought covers for them.
Right.
We took pretty good care of them.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah,
want
the
to
plan is that,
Get somebody else.
a student will keep their device, so that, you know, if you have a student that doesn't take care of their device, they're gonna get their same device back. That's the incentive of protecting your device.
Right.
But yes, the idea is right now, and I don't know what it was prior to this year, I don't know if a student got their device in sixth grade and kept it until they graduated, I'm not real sure. But we're trying, what I would propose is every 5 years, the device gets replaced. I mean, you know, businesses, you know, a PC will last 3 to 5 years before it really starts just, you know, not keeping up with the applications or whatever. I think in the past, what you guys have done is you've gone and bought bulk, you know, for the entire district or half the district, and you wait 5 or 6 years or whatever and do that. But if we get on a cycle like what she was referencing, that every 5 years, or every year, we're buying 2 classes of devices, and then you get on a 5-year rotation. So a kid starts in second grade, his device will go till 8th grade, and then he gets a new device, and that device will go through his senior year. So every 5 years, you know, a student will end up having 2 different devices through his tenure, but you're on a rotation where you're not shelling out, you know, several $100,000 in 1 year on devices.
That makes it easier to budget too, right?
Absolutely, because then we
Yes,
could work it
absolutely.
into our operating budget,
Right.
hopefully.
So next year, since after this year, I don't think we'll have to, we won't have to buy the laptops or Surfaces for a couple of years, but next year we'll be focusing on the iPads that are gonna be expiring next year for elementary. We replace the iPads next year, and then in 2026, we start that rotation of buying devices for a couple of classes each year.
And I guess that works great as long as we stick with Microsoft. That was kind of the thing when we switched over, is we kind of needed to do the whole thing at once, because you didn't want half of them on one device and half on the other.
Correct.
So will this wipe out what's in the capital budget?
No, it won't, not fully. I haven't seen what's in front of y'all right now, but
This 300,000?
no, it won't.
How much is in there?
A little over $1 million, if I remember correctly, somewhere right in there. I can get that number for you for sure, but
So is this a good time to talk about our fund balance and that, Trig, or not?
We can, I mean, how much?
Yeah. Do you want to, Kayla, or not? Not really?
I don't have that in front of
Okay.
me right now, but I mean, it won't have changed. Nothing's really changed out there since we designated those. I can give you all those in the board meeting next Monday, so we can
Okay,
look at
yeah.
that, because it's when we would theoretically talk about approving this, right?
Yeah, next board meeting.
So I can just bring that so that y'all can see exactly what we'd be left with, what's in there, what we've made in interest so far, kind of, that way you have all the ins and outs for this year.
So then you basically, so we've got a savings account and we've got $1 million assigned to technology. So it's basically, when we say capital outlay,
What
it's
other
savings
liabilities?
account.
What other liabilities are out there that are foreseeable
As far
as
as,
far as capital?
I mean, I don't know, it's anything, because we can do it, just about everything out of the bond except it comes to technology, we cannot. Our hands are tied with it that way.
We spent $750 on we took $750 out of it, right, for the payment?
Yes.
Yeah.
We haven't actually moved that out, but we approved for that to be moved out. It was 645, 511, somewhere in there, so about 650,000.
Oh, the insurance.
That will,
yes.
that will move over this summer before everything wraps up.
So we're kind of negative, right, for the year. Matt, Mindy, so we're 300-ish,
That's moving the 650 over.
so we're really $1 million.
We're really $1 million, which is about 500,000 better than what it was projected at the beginning of the year. And again, this is not Glen Rose ISD, this is statewide. You go to almost any school district in the state, this is not it's a state funding issue, really. I mean, they're just not funding to cover costs. There's been no inflation adjustments, we can go on and on into this, but
We'll talk more about
yes,
it.
we'll get more into that, but,
These guys have all heard it.
Yep.
yeah.
Their school's losing $4 or $5 million this year, like pretty regularly, I
Oh,
think.
yeah, and even some larger than that.
Really? Yeah.
I think Houston's cutting 1,000 jobs.
Something crazy. So,
So this is kind of our savings fund, right? And it's whether we take money out of our savings and do this. Sounds like it's needed. We're at 17-ish.
roughly.
You think?
Yeah, we can vote on it, I mean, we'll vote on it next
Yeah,
Monday.
just talk about it,
Yeah,
right?
no, I'm saying, yeah.
Sounds like it's needed to me, get them all on Microsoft.
So the second half is, are you all familiar with E-rate by the state, where they fund, government entities or education? There's E-rate money that's from the state. We had about $350,000 worth of E-rate funds from the state, where the state will pay 70% of those funds and the district pays 30%. So I went out and did an E-rate bid to get all new network gear for the district across the entire district, and upgrading all of the switches and routers and two of our wireless controllers that control all the Wi-Fi.
So that E-rate money you cannot pay for devices,
Right.
student devices.
Yeah.
Go ahead, sorry.
Yeah, it's gotta be used for specific functionality. It's really the backbone of your network. You can do the backbone of your network, or as well as internet services you can get through E-rate. So we had $353,000 of E-rate funds, which, basically they will pay, 70% of that. The state will pay 70% of that, we pay 30%. So our out-of-pocket would be around $105,000 for us to obtain these E-rate funds if we decide to move forward with this. I haven't officially received the approval yet from the state, but we've submitted, we've received our RFPs back and got our responses back, and we're just waiting on the state to approve the funds. There's a slight chance that they won't approve it, but it's very rare. But, and like I said, that's replacing basically the entire backbone of the Glenrose network. All the switches in every closet across every campus, and two wireless controllers, which they're $50,000 a piece just for those wireless controllers. So it's a substantial amount of money that the state's providing to us, and that expires this year if we hadn't applied for it. So I applied for it to make sure we get the funds, but obviously we have the $105,000 that we'd have to fork out for our 30%. So,
Who's our internet provider, is it Spectrum?
we actually get it through the region, so Region 12.
Okay.
They get, I think it's a 10 gig link that we actually have.
That's
on
what they did,
fiber.
that's what they did 2 years ago?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes, sir.
they're in the loop.
Yeah, and we have a backup through Nextlink,
Okay.
so if that goes down, but,
Okay,
yeah.
I remember they did it 2 years ago. Okay.
Comes out in Fort Worth or somewhere, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Directly here.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it actually goes through a couple of other school districts, how they built the ring, but yeah, it eventually ends back up at Region 12 is where the core is at. So that's all, just a lot of money.
In your opinion, what do you, like, how are we right now on the routers and everything?
It's needed. I mean, we're on old Dell switches, and part of the problem that we have, and we're experiencing issues on the backbone, we have two different vendors. We have Cisco and we have Dell that don't interop very well together. The Cisco's are newer devices, so this will be a new Cisco backbone that ties into that. But I mean, it's time to update them for sure. The wireless controllers, they're end of life, end of service, so we can't get updates on them, can't get security updates, so.
So the total was one
The district's out-of-pocket would be 105.
105.
Yeah, 105.
So if we do both of these, come next Monday, it's 105, and then the 298 is what it would be. So,
When would we know that, when the state approves this, that if we get that other?
So they started sending letters out at the end of April, so I would have thought we've already received a letter, but I just need to follow up with Region 12 to see. They won't actually fund their part, I think, until October, so, if we pay, like, if we get the approval letter tomorrow and we pay for it all up front, they would reimburse us that 70% in October. Or you could just wait, you know. Ideally, we want to get it as soon as possible so we can get it installed during the summer, during, you know, when the kids are out, but, it's not a showstopper. We can do it during the school year, just be a little bit better planning.
Wanted to get that so y'all can chew on it, and,
One question, what's the lifespan on those switches? When you say at 50 grand or whatever, what is,
So,
What's their lifespan?
switches, you can usually get around 8 to 10 years out of it, yeah. It really depends on, everything's kind of based off of software updates, right? I mean, you can have hardware failures, but it's rare on network backbone devices. If you go with somebody like Cisco or Dell, one of the bigger product lines, it really comes down to their software updates and how long they continue to push those security updates out. Because everything's based around security, right, with devices. When you stop getting security updates, that's when you become vulnerable on your network. And, you know, you might go 1 or 2 years, not have a problem, then all of a sudden you get attacked by something, shut your whole network down, so you're running that risk once you go beyond your lifespan, so to speak. So,
Instead of using on-prem servers, can we use the cloud?
we do, we're in a hybrid environment right now, so we're using Microsoft Intra, used to be called Azure, so our Active Directory and all that's in the cloud today. I think our Skyward Student, which controls all the student records and stuff, is in the cloud. Skyward Finance is on site. So it's just a hybrid environment, it's mixed. We can't move everything to the cloud just because of compatibility issues. Some things aren't cloud ready, so to speak. But yeah, we've got a lot in the cloud right now.
What do you think, Trey?
I mean, I think that the devices are something that we do need to make sure that we get everybody on the same page and moving forward and have a good plan. You know, get those iPads, next year, and then the year after that, start our rotation, I think is a great idea. And then we put that in our operating budget annually, for 2 classes going forward. As far as the E-rate stuff, you know, we're relying on Eddie's expertise on that to understand if, hey, is that the right thing for us to do or not, keep us up and going. And so, you know, I know we don't want to take it out of capital outlay with a deficit budget. However, we want to keep things moving in the right direction. And they have been, and, you know, kudos to Eddie as far as we've had, talking about disruptions and very few in this past year, and when they have occurred, we've been up and running again pretty quickly. I won't speak for everybody, but it has been smooth, especially a year with new devices. You know, we can get brand new stuff. You think there's going to be a lot of hiccups, and it's been pretty smooth, so I appreciate that.
So would that 105 come out of the same account as the other 300?
Yes, sir. So, we'll have all that in front of you before we make a motion to approve that, for sure.
The 70-30 split, it's pretty hard not to do that.
Yeah,
That's-
I mean,
That's
it's been
only
around.
available, right.
Yeah.
well, in the 105 spread out over 8 to 10 years. If that's the lifespan of it, I mean, that's a
Are there any grants or anything for I mean, when Glen Rose was, right, it used to be in that deal.
The problem is that we're so far advanced as far as our technology goes. Most of the grants are still trying to get schools caught up to being a one-to-one program. So once you have to check the box that you're already one-to-one, you're almost always eliminated, like right away. We got a few back during COVID that we were able to purchase a few more devices with, but in the past 3 years, every time Susie's gotten an application, as soon as you say you're already one-to-one, you're pretty much out. We still keep an eye on them when they come and try to get them, when we can, but that's one of the downsides to being where we are, which is great. I would rather us be where we are than needing those, but we'll obviously keep an eye out. Anytime we get them, we'll use those instead of our operating budget, but.
There's not much resale on those used, I remember the last time, right?
We got like $30,000 back from.
Yeah, MacBooks.
Mac.
Yeah, which, that's a good point. The MacBooks that we take out of service, we will get some money back on those. I don't know what it'd be for the recycling fee, but, it could be $5,000 or $10,000 that we'll get back off those devices, which helps.
All right,
Okay.
very good, thank you.
All right, we're good.